Welcome to SUPERA, the podcast, which in 2026, we're going to try to do it every 2 weeks, brought to you by Castro Realty Group. My name is Ricardo Castro. I'm a business owner and a realtor, leading a team of 9 bilingual agents serving Nebraska and Iowa. But this time, and like many other times in the future, we want to bring together business owners, small business owners. We want to highlight not only their participation in the business world, also that they can share their history, their human history, who they are and what they bring to us and what they brought to the community. This time, I'm honored to have two business owners, successful business owners, on my right and left side. I have with me Carlos Méndez, the owner of different restaurants in town that he's gonna uh, disclose or mention in a little bit. And we have Luis Barajas, our insurance agent, and who helps, I would say, hundreds of families and also real estate investors. And welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Great. Carlos, tell us a little bit about where we are and what do you do here?
Well, we're located, in Rotisserie Urban Bistro, R.U.B in Aàran. I've been in the industry, taking a little bit back to, I've been in the industry for almost 22 years at this point, and I have restaurants like España, Little España, the Hunger Block. Currently, I have Rotisserie Urban Bistro, I have Dolomiti Pizzeria, and then Aàran restaurant in Benson, along with Benson's Oatmeal. So that's kind of what I do on regular basis. And this concept is something that I kind of grew up in Venezuela eating. Rotisserie chicken is very Latin American, and I would say Peruvian especially. That's kind of what you guys are, the rock stars of rotisserie chicken. So yeah, I always look for an opportunity here in Omaha to recreate what I grew up eating, and this is a concept that is very versatile. It has rotisserie chicken meats, different proteins, and it's kind of fun with different sides that are a little healthier. So that's kind of what we wanted to kind of bring to Omaha, and that's kind of what we're kind of serving nowadays.
I followed Carlos for years, but he always had new enterprises and new ideas. And I went to the other restaurants he mentioned, España, Little España, and a Hunger Block, I remember. And you had food from Argentina, from Peru, from Venezuela, from Mexico, from different countries there.
Mhm.
And this time, when I showed up to this one, I didn't. When I saw rotisserie chicken, I just came and showed up. We are here in the Aàran Village area, and I didn't realize that it was another venture of you and your family. Uh, the R.U.B. Rotisserie Urban
Rotisserie Urban Bistro.
Bistro.
Mhm.
Where are we located at? And
This is the HDR building. It is located on 1719 South 67th Street, and the street is 110. And it is in this cut corner of a beautiful building where we are located at. And we can invite everybody to come and give us a try. The concept is very, as I said, versatile. It's fast casual, and people, the majority of the people that come, so everybody that comes loves it. So that's kind of what we got to offer in the area. A little bit of Latin flair.
What days of the week and
Work.
schedules here?
We're open daily from 11 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. depending on the day, and Monday through Sunday.
Monday through Saturday.
Mhm.
Okay. Carlos always brings us and bring the community different options for healthy food, original, unique offers, basically out of the box. That's my perception of
Yeah.
what you always offer.
I always try to bring something new to the city. I think even though Omaha is such a busy city restaurant wise, there's a lot of competition and a lot of restaurants. I always trying to kind of bring something interesting and something new to the mix. And, that's kind of my passion is and what it motivates me to wake up every day and do my thing. So, yeah.
Carlos, congratulations. Thank you for having us here. And thank you also for all the offers you have. Dolomiti, this restaurant, and Aàran in Benson.
Yeah,
Right?
correct.
Please check Carlos and his businesses online. We're gonna show the name of the business, website, and social media information at the bottom of the screen. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Well, here we keep going with the show today, with the episode today of SUPERA, the podcast. And check us online, supera.com and also crghouses.com. We have this time here again. We invited a couple times a bright business owner, young person, great human being, leader in our community, Luis Barajas with Protectors Insurance. Welcome, Luis.
Ricardo, thank you so much for the opportunity. Always a pleasure. I believe this might be our fourth time on the podcast, possibly three or fourth. And it's always a pleasure. We always have had a great working relationship, mutual, helping each other out, helping at the end of the day our clients, both on the residential and commercial side. As Ricardo mentioned, my name is Luis Barajas with Protectors Insurance. We're actually a month away from celebrating our 4-year anniversary of Protectors Insurance. I've been in the industry since 2016, and boy, has there been any changes to this industry since I started. There's definitely been a ton. And I'm hoping to share some of that information with you guys, whether you're a business owner or are a real estate investor. The information that we'll be discussing today with Ricardo is definitely of high value to you.
Right. Luis, I know Luis in two different aspects which are linked to each other. Luis is an insurance agent and leads a team of insurance agents who happen to help many or most of our clients uh, in our residential and commercial real estate business. He helps some of our commercial investors or flippers or families looking for a homeowners insurance policy. But at the same time, we, my family and I, we happen to own several rental properties and residential, multifamily, and commercial. And Protectors Insurance is our insurance company. Is Luis and his team are the people that we call even sometimes before buying the property in order to learn what we're gonna face afterwards. With that said, I have the point of view as of your industry, as a consumer, but also as a realtor, which numbers, or numbers, I have to see the numbers that make sense for my clients, their monthly payments. And one of the main reasons you are here today is because as a consumer, I've been witnessing and seeing many changes in my policies, my expenses, which actually affect the decision making process as a landlord or as a real estate investor. My first reaction could have been, well, this thing that this investment doesn't make sense anymore. Why? Because my expenses are growing. But of course, thanks God, I'm well represented in the insurance area, and Luis took the time to explain and also to check different routes for my business as a landlord, as an investor in real estate, in the real estate industry. What would you tell our people are could be the biggest changes? Let's talk about residential at this point. Real estate policies, insurance policies.
Yeah, I think before we really get into what has changed, we should definitely discuss why things have changed, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, Nebraska, especially in this side of the state, Omaha, Lincoln area, the last couple of years, unfortunately, we've experienced some high volume, high frequency number of storms, and combined with inflation, cost of material, labor, that is definitely a bad mix. And in 2024, there was definitely records broken in terms of dollars paid out in storm damage. We're talking about millions, millions, possibly in the billions of losses paid out from all that storm damage. And in 2024, we actually had 5 catastrophic storms, classified catastrophic, meaning there's variety, high volume of damages, probably spanning in more than one zip code, more than one county, where these insurance companies actually have to fly in resources from other states in order to be able to support the workload and ensure that all the clients are being taken care of in a quick, timely manner. And from all those storms, 2025 rolls around, and here comes into play all the regulation, right? In 2025, we had 6 months of a standstill in our business where probably about two-thirds of the industry literally paused all new incoming business, meaning that unfortunately we cannot insure you. And if we do, you have to fit this very, very narrow box of guidelines, right? Unfortunately, if you fall outside of this very narrow box, you're ineligible. right? And that was basically the first half of 2025. With the second half of 2025, third and fourth quarter, all the implementation of the new guidelines, new contracts basically being rolled out, right? And that's currently where we stand now is new rate adjustments, higher pricing, higher participation of the client with these higher deductibles. And we'll kind of start there, right? What's probably the biggest change you see on your insurance policy outside of price is your deductible, right? Most of these homeowners nowadays have always had a flat $1,000 deductible, $1,500 deductible.
That's what we were used to.
That's what we're used to, right? If there's a storm that rolls by, you have $10,000 worth of damages. They deduct the $1,000 deductible. You get $9,000. Now you can negotiate that $1,000 deductible with your contractor. And most contractors can find ways, can provide some form of support to eliminate or reduce a lot of that burden of the deductible, right? Well, 2026, unfortunately, most of the deductibles, Ricardo, will be a minimum of 2,500. And this is probably on your smaller side of your home, right? Probably homes that have a market value of 150, $250,000, with homes in greater value following a 1% deductible. 1% deductible is a calculation out of the value of the home based on the coverage value, right? Quick example of that, Ricardo, would be $500,000 home, right? 500,000. 1% is a $5,000 deductible. So that $1,000 deductible, unfortunately, is out the door. Now that deductible should be helping slightly with price. And a lot of the counter argument that we get from our clients is that how did the deductible go up and our price went up, right? Unfortunately, we're paying the prices from all the storms of 2024, where Omaha was severely impacted. And at the end of the day, insurance is a shared risk, a shared pool. Sometimes it's me that's damaged. Next time it's my neighbor. Next time it's Ricardo. And we all share that expense together. So that's what we're living in today.
Those were the reasons, mainly the weather issues that we face, and also the economy.
100%. You know, that's a great point there. The economy has definitely not been in our favor. Now we probably are shielded from a lot of that external conflict because Nebraska has a very strong economy. You can never go wrong with buying a home in Omaha. The economy here in Omaha is shielded from a lot of that external pressure. But yes, at the end of the day, materials comes from other states, possibly other countries. The ingredients to make certain materials possibly are exported from other countries, and that at the end of the day is impacting cost of price on materials.
2026. It's already almost. We are getting to the end of January 2026.
Yes.
First month. How do you see the industry in these following months?
Yeah.
Is it too early to to say loudly what's happening here or what we're gonna face?
Definitely. I think we're much better prepared with the new conditions and how these policies are now written to kind of fight any major storms that come into the area throughout the storm season. But at the end of the day, our industry is definitely impacted by what happens throughout the year. And we're always kind of trying to predict what's next, calculating our cost based on what possibly can happen based on weather patterns data, but then also prior years, was it profit, was there losses, and we try to evaluate and adjust according to that. But I am being very optimistic about 2026, Ricardo. I know overall 2025 was a little bit of a slower year in terms of storm volume, giving us that break that we needed to really reorganize, restructure, implement new contracts so that when, and it's not if, it's when that next storm comes in, these carriers are putting a little bit of the burden on the client, a little bit less exposure on their end. And these contracts are meant to be a little bit more participation of the client, a little bit less risk on the insurance carrier.
More participation in the client, meaning the deductibles that's why they are higher at this point.
Unfortunately, right? The deductible playing a big part, but then also really pressuring the homeowner to really have that value approach to their insurance, right? At the end of the day, we want you as a client to ensure that you're taking care of your home, maintaining it properly, If there's any minor damages that you see, that you tackle that immediately to prevent that damage from expanding and growing and getting costlier to repair. But more than anything, a lot of limitations, especially for your exterior of your home, right? Unfortunately, in Nebraska, your most severe storms and most frequent claim is due to wind and hail. And that's, your siding, that's your roof, that's your gutters. Well, there's a lot of limitation now on how much coverage applies to your roof based on the age of the roof. So now putting a little bit more pressure on the client to ensure that they're keeping their home up to date. And if that roof, starts decaying due to age, you're losing a lot of benefits on your policy, still paying full price for the policy. But in all reality, if there's a loss, a lot of that expense will come out of your pocket due to depreciation taking into consideration in these policies, right? So, rule of thumb on that, Ricardo, before we move on here is if your roof is about 10 to 15 years old, please review your insurance policy. There may already be limitations where actual cash value applies, as most of these insurance companies have now adjusted their time window to the first 10 years of life on that roof. After 10 years, actual cash value will apply.
Yeah, and that was actually my question is basically practical examples or advices to a regular homeowner,
Yes.
right? And you just mentioned one regarding the roofing. Uh, about the electrical panels or let's say HVAC, are they having the kind of the same weight as decision criteria for the insurers, from the carriers to when they have to make decisions about policies or
Yeah, great question, right? Really, at the end of the day, I would say most homes nowadays are outside of that window where they have asbestos or they have knob and tube type of electrical systems, right? Most homes in the area have been updated by investors and have now been brought up to code. So a lot of times these things aren't really anything that's really playing a big role on price. Now, of course, we want that electrical system to be in good condition and meeting state code requirements and local code requirements, but it's really not something that's playing a huge role in price. Now, where it could be of benefit to you is if you take a very old home, let's say a home that was built in 1900, which there's a lot of homes, especially in that South O North area, right? These homes then are being remodeled by an investor such yourself and your clients, and they pull permits for plumbing, pull permits for electrical and HVAC. Well, now with the support of those permits, we can now apply for credits. In other words, discounts. So the insurance company doesn't look at the property as a wow, this house is 125 years old. Yes, it's 125 years old, but all the interior utilities are 5 years old, 1 year old. That's going to be a huge savings, not only for the investor, but if the investor plans on selling that property to the consumers, it's a great selling point.
that investor, also the families who are buying properties. I mean, we are realtors and we need to be aware of these things. But if we are not, or we don't say something, you as buyer using our services or anyone else, any other realtor you want, keep those things in mind. I mean, just ask questions like that. I mean, what was improved or updated in this property? Thinking about the insurance policy in the future.
Mhm.
One thing that I've been recommending, and tell me if this sounds realistic, if a person is buying a property, let's say a family or an investor, is it smart to contact you guys first? As I mean, people usually shop around and see their lenders.
Yeah.
If they contact you also to say, I'm interested, out of the many houses we saw, I'm interested in this property. Could you give me a ballpark estimate on the insurance policy for this house?
Definitely. That's actually a great suggestion and a great recommendation that we give, Ricardo, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the price of insurance for that property will still be within your DTI ratios while you're going through your lending process. But one important thing as well is that we can actually run some reports on the back end to see if there's been any claim activity on that property, right? Because the last thing that we want you as a client as well as your realtor to be involved in is running into problems where the prior owner had a claim in 2024, received $20,000 of funds to replace the damages. They keep that money, pocket that money, sell the property, and then now transferring the new damages and problems to the client. And the client is not only paying top price for the property, but now inheriting all those problems and damages, right? So if there's a claim in 2024 and we know that the roof hasn't been replaced since 2024, bang, that's an alert. And that's something that we would disclose to you as a client and you as a realtor so that you guys can now check in with the realtor representing the seller and see where's the disconnect, right? Is there evidence that the roof did get replaced? And if the roof's not been replaced, now there's some negotiating ammo for you to negotiate a better price for your client.
That's a negotiation tools, but at the same time, I've seen cases where the new insurance company doesn't want to insure that property anymore because the roof wasn't replaced, and we already. I mean, they said that the previous one already paid for a new roof or whatever.
Yes.
I've seen cases where they don't want to insure, or some other one they will provide an insurance policy but not covering the roof.
100%. There's
So there's two
definitely
cases.
exclusions implemented, and unfortunately, the price is not going to be very favorable because you're paying full price for half the benefits. Just not very favorable. Now, another thing too is that your lender may not approve that policy
Yeah,
if there's
I
an
see that.
exclusion on the roof, right? That's a big item that lenders at the end of the day want to ensure that they can, take back that property if there's bankruptcy or then individuals unable to pay, that they're able to recover their property in the best shape they can.
And we are getting out of hopefully of hard times in the local economy and in the nation actual economy. Sometimes when we get a big amount of money out of insurance claim, we want to use it for other means, right? And we might have some other agencies to use the money. Uh, Keep that in mind if you are an owner, because if you do that now, when you sell your property, most likely, I would say 100% sure that that's going to be shown in the records. So the next owner is not gonna be able to purchase your house just because you didn't invest what you were supposed to. And keep that in mind because I know we all have families, we all have to face obstacles sometimes, and we need to pay debts sometimes or react to emergencies. But your house is an asset that not doesn't only imply the four walls and the ceiling. There's many other things to be taken into consideration. To finish with our show today, what else would you like to add or to tell our people tips perhaps about insurance?
Yeah.
Insurance.
I'm a big believer in supporting local, right? That means a local lender, a local realtor, a local insurance representative. Especially in today's age, unfortunately, there's been a ton of changes to contracts, terms and conditions of how these policies apply. And although you're paying for a full replacement policy, the terms of the policy will be based on the condition of the property, right? This is where it's super important that you're working with somebody local that is knowledgeable and understands today's locals regulation laws and how things will apply rather than working with a national carrier or company that understands things at a generic level but not specialized to your location, right? So work local, support local.
Luis Barajas with Protectors Insurance, he has mentioned something, two words pretty important here: local and current regulations, right? Two things to be taken seriously into consideration when making decisions in every single aspect. In this case, the insurance from the insurance industry. Luis, when can people find you?
Definitely. You can call us at 402-623-0050. We're right off of 24th and Vinton next to the Omaha Police Station. Welcome us. Welcome. Come visit our office. Love to chat with you, invite you some coffee and some water, and we're here to help.
I'm going to steal a couple of maybe one more minute about this. The reason why we invite professionals here is because we usually, when we have someone sitting down here, is because we already dealt with them in different aspects on witness their work. In this case, Luis and his team, I'm going to give a plain and simple example. I have most of my insurance policies with Protections Insurance and Waste. One is the one that I don't have with them, which is my own house where I live. Why? Because they were kind enough and professional enough to tell me we cannot provide anything competitive price-wise to what you have right now. I quoted with Luis like 3 or 4 times over the last 3 years about this specific house, which is the house where I live. And one of the aspects that the reasons, the main weaknesses my own house has is I have wood shingles in my roof, which makes so difficult. Most of the insurance companies nowadays they don't want to provide policies in properties, movies like that, or if they do, the prices are to give you
Outrageous.
it's nonsense. I pay more in my insurance policy, home insurance policy at home, way more than I pay in a commercial building that we own. And so basically, first he advises stay where you are. I cannot be competitive here. And secondly, he ran numbers for me saying maybe it's better for you to replace the roof now. To make that investment, which is a huge investment, but at the same time, he showed the numbers how I'm gonna save money on my policy after I change the roof. And that's the kind of a professional we have here. And that's why he's here today. And that's why we are growing 4 year now, right?
4 year anniversary approaching.
Pretty successful business. Any social media websites where they can find you too?
Yeah, definitely. You can follow us at protectors_insure, both on Instagram and Facebook. I also try to be a little bit active on my own social media, and it's insure with Luis, insure with underscore Luis on Instagram.
Luis, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you again for everything you guys do for all of us.
It's a pleasure, Ricardo.
Thanks for being with us. We are SUPERA podcast. This is the first one of the year, and we're gonna have many more this year. Please check us out in social media, Castro Realty Group, and social media. SUPERA also is one of them. SUPERA. My name is Ricardo Castro, Castro Realty Group with Nebraska Realty.